I'm going to be speaking to LaLaBright, and we're going to be dissecting a dream of hers. Here she is. Woohoo!
Hello.
Hello.
Well, I love your home. It's wherever you are, it's always pretty. I like it.
These are, see those two the big paintings. It's by the
Yeah.
same woman that did the other one that you saw. She's
I
so
thought they were
gifted.
real. I
Yeah.
did. Last time I was like, oh my God.
So
Okay, I'll show
what
you.
are we gonna look at? We're gonna look at your dreams, or are we gonna look at something specific? Have you had any little inklings? Because I know how intuitive you are.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very interested in the dreams. I have visitation dreams a lot. I've had some issues with dreams. I am interested in um when I lost a couple years ago, I lost my parents and then my boyfriend of 15 years, my son's father, and then a best friend, one after the other. And ever since my dad died first, and ever since that, something kept bothering me in my dreams, and I would wake up with like bruises. So it was really visiting me and it would bother me. So I got help, like I told you, I got help for it. But I still sometimes I see it in my dreams kind of in the corner. But it doesn't mess with me anymore, but it still lingers. And so I would, or if that's not a thing, if you don't want to touch on that, I would like to just in general, my dreams, I think it's very interesting. So
Or we can combine them. I know we can. So, what did you do to get rid of that essence? What was the
I
process roughly?
I got June Lundridge. I didn't know who she was, but I got a feeling, so I invited her on the show, and she like gets rid of negative spirits. And I really didn't think it was going to help because I tried to get help before, and it took two times, but the thing stopped bothering me, and I stopped waking up with bruises. I mean, I woke up. I know I sound cuckoo, but I literally woke up to something, you know, being very inappropriate to me, and I thought I
There
was
are. I mean, these succubi, they exist. I've experienced that too. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
yeah,
So,
yeah. So
yeah.
I know.
I'm just inferring, but I reckon, yeah, sure. It does happen a lot, these things. Um, okay. So we can do two things. And then we'll bring that essence in because if we do a kind of generic sounds like completely the wrong word to use with you, but a sort of pattern template that you can look at dreams with in the future, any other dreams or any ones you've had, you can do. So that's quite simple. Have you got any paper? Otherwise, I can do the drawing separation stuff. I mean, it
Um,
doesn't matter. It's just sometimes quite helps to just write something, draw something, so I can do it, and then I can share that with you. I think that's
okay.
what we'll do. Um, so there's a really basic. This is from Gestalt. The German. That's a German word for everything altogether, but it's just a holistic a way of looking at dreams that I've used and adapted, but it works really well. Um, and literally, you just divide a dream into four main parts, and then you add a fifth one, or you can have it in five main parts and you add a sixth. Usually it's simpler to do four, it just depends on the complexity of the dream. And then you go to each part and you talk to it
Okay.
and you get the information from it. Um, so, um, it might be good to have if we did a five and then the final six, that one of the five is that character, could be one of the symbols, like, what are you doing? What are
Right.
you doing in the dream? Shall we have a conversation, find out, maybe we can work something out here. Um, so shall we take a dream that you've experienced that you want to kind of look at?
Um, yeah, actually, the bridge. Every time, I mean, I know bridges symbolize they're passing over. Whenever my family members or friend would pass, they would come to me in a bridge behind them. But sometimes I would have to drive over this big, scary bridge to help them or get to them or something. And I could never really do it because it turned into like this roller coaster and it just scared the crap out of me.
You can
And
swim if you want to.
I, so I mean, I don't understand what that truly symbolizes. Really.
Okay. So that's a really good first symbol. So we've got the bridge. Would there be, should we put the roller coaster as a separate symbol to that? Or would you like to look at another
Whatever,
part of the dream?
whatever you think is good.
Okay, well, let's have the bridge and let's have the roller coaster. So I'm going to make the, oh, I should have rubbed that out, but doesn't matter. Raised it. That's how you say it in American, isn't it? So here's just a bridge and here's a roller coaster, just a really basic
Okay.
symbol, incredibly basic, but it's just sometimes we can squiggle down notes or just refer back to anything. So what about the feeling you had when the roller coaster appeared? What was that? Let's have that as our next symbol.
Just shock and terror because it was originally, it's always at night, and it was originally just this big dark bridge over water. And then all of a sudden there's like this loop coming. I'm like, oh shit, I'm not gonna be able to make this. I
Okay.
can't do this. And how am I gonna turn around? You know?
Okay.
So
So we just
just
have, I've just put a thing for shock, just that's all. Okay. Just a
yes.
shock in the middle. Rubbish camera, sorry. Okay. And did you wake up from those dreams? Or
Yeah.
was it just suddenly in the shock state, you woke up and then calmed yourself down?
I
Or was there anything in between?
I usually would wake up. One time I actually did finally make it through it. Um, but usually I just wake up because it scares me.
Okay. What happened when you finally made it through?
I was surprised I was going through with it, but I was just on this mission. I was like, well, screw it. Let me just do this. And it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. For some reason, it wasn't as loopy as it looked. Like it wasn't as,
So did you get to the other side of the
I
bridge?
did, yeah.
Okay, so let's call it the other side.
But this took a couple
And
years. So they passed like I guess my dad was like 6 and my mom was 5, and then my boyfriend's 3, and then my friend was 2 years ago. So this took a few years to actually go through this bridge.
yeah, kind of amazing, that kind of compressed experience, isn't it?
Yeah.
I really only had one dear friend die on me, and that was profound. So I can imagine that when you
Sorry.
had, lots of these, it's and comes through. So all I've done, I don't know if you can see, I've just made one like a big island here, a little one there. So as though you've now got there. Okay, so we can work with 4, but how are we going to describe this character? Because that's going to be our 5th element who sort of hangs out in your dreams sometimes.
It's always a man, and at first he came with pure white eyes, just no eyes, just white there.
Yeah.
At the very end, when she did whatever she did, it showed up as pure black eyes and as a woman. It was an Asian woman. And I became aware I realized I was in a dream, which I usually don't do. And I said, I know you're here. And then I was in a mall and everybody parted ways. And then this woman came in front of me with black eyes and just grinned at me really creepy. And then I woke up. I was like, oh God. Because it's the same feeling, whether it was a man or a woman, it's the same eerie, I'm prey feeling, I'm being watched kind of thing.
Okay. Interesting that it was in a mall as well. Do you like going shopping or not?
But no,
No. Okay. So,
I'm very shy.
the atmosphere is also fitting to the
Okay.
essence. Okay, good. That's so all I've done is just put some white eyes and some black eyes, just incredibly basic, right? And then we're going to have, actually, I feel like starting with the end, which
Okay.
what it's all about. We could start that way, or at least with the intention, and then go back and kind of work our way through. Probably I'm going to have my eyes shut for some of this. You can do what you want, whatever feels comfortable to you. And what I'm going to be doing with you is literally just, we're in a resonance space, you and I together. And so I'm going to kind of enter your resonance field to get information.
Thank you, by the way. This is really cool.
Well, it's fun. I love doing this. So. Okay, cool. Great. And we're going to call this dream the bridge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. And am I pronouncing your name properly? When I say Lala, is that
Yes.
right? Is it lovely like that? Okay.
Yep.
Beautiful melody.
Thank you.
Nice. Okay. Okay. Right. So, first of all, I was very conscious the last couple of days of some weird stuff going on in the cosmos with things stealing our love energy and all kinds of things. It's like sometimes I like to zoom out and see how far I can feel. And if there is anything that my little tiny humanness can do about it, I, have a go. So I want to just call in. I use Prime Creator for me. That's like the everything. So
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
probably just, okay.
Me too.
So I just call in for you and for me and for whatever we generate, complete and entire assistance and support in the clarity of information for this little dream analysis, so that what you see, what I see, is truthful and as accurate as possible as we can perceive it through our human minds. So I'm getting nice tingles on my head. I hope that feels lovely to you too. Okay, so we're going to talk to Lala's bridge dream, and I'm going to close my eyes and see if there's a sixth symbol. You could just either use your intuition or just close your eyes and see if anything pops up, anything at all. Because I've got something instantly, but let's see if you've got any image come up, which is like the resolution image for this. Mine already morphed a little bit, so yours might do that too, like it went into the next stage. So what did you see, feel, hear, experience, whatever?
It was like a wiggly circle, but then went to a spiral, which makes sense for me.
Okay, yeah, interesting. So I saw like the Arthur chalice, right? That sort of big cup. So I saw
Yeah.
first a chalice, and then I saw a rainbow in the background. And then the chalice changed to a bowl, kind of like a scrying bowl. So I was thinking about the wiggly with the spiral. So it was a bowl which seemed to have water liquid in it, and the rainbow was kind of going into the bowl. So we can find out what it means. I'm sure it already has.
It does mean a lot,
Yeah,
actually.
yeah, you'll have a reference point. It's always funny, isn't it? And they're so tiny, these little movements of information. You just have to grab them when they appear. So I just draw that on there because we can come back to that. It'll be brewing away in its background to tell us what we're going to do. Okay, so now we're in a nice clear state. We're not afraid. We're awake. We're going to go straight into your bridge. All right, so can you just first describe it a little bit? Tell me what you see or feel or hear, or smell, anything that sensorily you can pick up from this bridge.
The only thing is just this complete darkness around me. This bridge is a very wide, very intimidating, and like a dark copper color or brownish copper color. And the only lights are on it are like the on the bridge. So
Yeah,
like the
okay.
spotlight is on us.
To me, it looks a bit like a suspension bridge. For me, I've just
Yes.
got stars all around, and it's like this bridge going off into the distance. I don't even know how
Yes.
far away it is. That's what I
Yes.
saw. Does that feel accurate to you?
Yes. Very
Okay.
big. There's always water under it. So
Okay. So, what we're going to do is, what can you bring your soul brings to that moment to help you feel completely comfortable, completely safe, immensely secure, with poise, with information, with wisdom? What kind of symbol? It could be anything from living, could be a puppy, a child. It could be a ray of sunshine. It could be a sweetie. It could be anything, a piece of candy, anything that is going to, it could be like a magic pill or a huge version of yourself. Is there anything coming that there you are with a bridge, and it feels rather intimidating, but that you, because you're infinitely intelligent, can come forth with something. It can be funny.
it's a just a line, but it's like a lifeline. Like, all right, hold on to this freaking rope. I know that sounds weird, but it's just a little black line. It's not even big. I don't
But I
understand.
got an arrow.
Okay, good.
Now, as you said, line, it was like a little arrow. So isn't that hilarious? So can you throw that arrow? Is it like Thor's arrow? He throws his hammer. Can you just throw that arrow if you need it? What
Right.
what does it do? Just have a look and see what are the potentials of this arrow. Can you just always have it to hold on to, or is it for defense in case anything nasty comes towards you? What can it do, this arrow?
My brain is, you know how people they slide on a rope down a hill? What is it
Yeah.
called?
Yeah.
So I can bypass the bridge.
Yeah, so you don't need the bridge. You're
Right.
independent of the bridge. Oh, that's so good. So no one can do anything to you because you have what's it called? It's not a slip line, but I know what you mean. It's that thing that you
Yeah.
can slide down. I'll just call it a slip line for now because I can't think of what it's called. Okay, I love that. Right. So now just look at the bridge once more. Now that you've got that, how are you feeling about the bridge? Would you like to get on
Not
the
scared.
bridge?
I'm not scared.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Let's walk along the bridge until it turns into the roller coaster. Okay. You got your special slip line, arrow line. Um, can you see where it turns into this roller coaster?
It's it's the middle end, so I've gone so far into it that it switches up on me, and that's when I get scared because I'm like, how do I bypass this? How do I go back?
Yeah,
Like,
it looks really messy to me, like all kind of squiggled around like a
it
knot,
is.
like a
It
worm
is.
when they're
Right.
hibernating. Yeah, is that how it is
Yes.
for you too? Okay, I
Yeah.
like that. Okay, so let's give that line arrow thing a property which enables you to not have to go into the roller coaster, but to follow its progression. What can what would that be? Again, just trust the first thoughts that come into your mind.
I just feel like this, not magic carpet, but something that's engulfing me in like safety. So it's like a maybe a floaty device or something. It's soft corners. It's not pointy.
Nice.
Maybe a big
Okay. Yeah, I like
pillow.
the magic carpet because I was seeing almost like a, and I didn't like it, like a almost like a transparent cube that you were in, and you could move on this slip line in your, like an invisible elevator almost, like a.
That's what the yeah, there was like a little yeah.
Okay, so that's great. We've got the synthesis of that. I love that. Okay, so it's kind of a magic carpet with a sort of basically you're protected and it's running along that slip line. Who is holding the line for you? Who is holding that? Who is supporting that in space?
Hmm.
Is it part of you? Is it a bigger part of you? Is it a part of your soul? Is it a friend? Is it creator? Is it
I,
the
you know,
earth?
in my dreams, whenever I need help, I always feel my mom show up.
Oh, lovely. Okay. Is she much bigger than a normal human or is she normal human size?
Usually normal or a little girl.
Okay, cool. But she's just holding it there with her power.
Yeah.
It's there. Okay, lovely. That's beautiful. Right. Okay. I'm not going to draw up a person more than a
Although her
moment.
personality, she was from New York, so she had a very big personality.
I need to put big hair on her. Yeah.
Yeah. She did. She did. Yeah.
Did she?
Yes.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay,
She
I
put
love that.
curlers in and the hairspray, and it was there.
There was some serious hair, wasn't there, in the States? I went
Yes.
to Purdue in 1991, I think. My God, I was, the little European with the flat hair. It was strange.
Every morning she'd do like half a can of hairspray, and I'm like, oh my gosh, stop.
Killed
Shut
all
up.
the bugs. Oh, okay. So this is so cool because that crazy thing, we're going to follow it to the end. Would you suggest that's a good idea? Should we follow the roller coaster to where it stops?
Okay.
Because at the stopping point is where you get the shock. Is that what you would say from your experience? Okay,
Yeah.
good. So bearing in mind that you are completely held, you're in a lovely safe spot, container, as it were, and you can follow along. It's like this is the roller coaster is like a landscape underneath you. So you're totally safe. You're just inquisitive right now because you're visiting the dream. You can now go in and have a look at this spot of trouble, this shock. Okay, like when someone is out of their body and they're being operated on in the table, they just go,
Yeah.
that's kind of interesting. So that's the state we're in right now.
Okay.
Okay, so we're just going to, if we just travel along, now we just leave the middle of the bridge. We're now over this crazy roller coaster. Can you kind of follow it along? And then are you starting to see anything of the shock? Can you see anything? Can you smell anything? Is there any light or color or sound? What can you associate with that?
It looks like it's a more alive on the other side. So there's green grass, there's light, there's sounds of people alive or birds. It's not so dead.
Okay. I just saw a lot of papers in the air, like an
Mhm.
explosion had gone off, and so they were all kind of. I don't know if that rings a bell.
My mom she was a counselor, but she also wrote books, so that would make sense
Okay.
with paper. She had paper, literally paper piled up on the kitchen table and everywhere else. So
Okay.
that would very much make sense.
So right now we're floating over this. So you've got the lovely landscape. There's grass and birds and so on. Does it look scary now? Is the where can we kind of hone in on where this shock is and sort of look curiously at it? Are there any people there? Are there any creatures there?
On the
Yeah.
part that's scary,
Yeah, where this
it's
shock
just
is.
ice. It's like kind of dead and ice. Like I can't ever get help if I needed it. That's what it feels like.
Okay, so we're going to call something else in. We're going to add it to your lovely safe flying vessel.
Mhm.
That something like a bell, like you pull the bell or you ring a bell or it's an instrument, anything that is a sound, and the sound is going to call, I don't know, you could have it, all of your soul comes to look after you, or you could have all of your mother, not just holding that, but the whole of her could be there. Anything you want that will help you know that you're completely reliably safe. So so we're going to edge forward a little bit over this because this is the point you normally wake up from these kind of a dream or you have. So it seems to have wanted to shock you. Can we get down a little bit lower over this shocking area? Because it looks really pretty. It's like I can see that kind of nice pasture land. Like you wouldn't expect anything to happen. So it's almost like it's going to suddenly surprise you. Is that what you're expecting?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So let's slow motion it, right? So when it appears, it's going to be in real slow motion.
Okay.
Okay. So we'll kind of count it down from 5 to 0. And when we get to 0, the explosion will start to happen. So you can start to feel and see it. And then in this safe environment. Okay. And you can ring on the bell if you need that too. Okay. So there we are in this peaceful area. We've slowed everything down. I've just stated that we haven't put any mechanism in. We're just slowing down time. And we count down 5, 4, 3, 2, an explosion's about to go off. 1, now. Now, did you experience anything? And then I'll tell you what I saw.
I saw it from a different point of view. So I was hovering in the middle, looking at everything instead of just freaking out on it, which
Yeah,
I've never actually done
yeah,
before.
yeah,
And now I kind of understand what's going on a little bit more better.
yeah,
So
yeah. And I saw it was like I knew something was going to come up from under the earth. That was what it was like it was going to burst up, and I didn't know what it was, but I knew it was. And then when we got to the 0, I just saw like a puff of smoke going all the way up. So I just got this sort of almost like, in those Disney movies when you get the genie coming out the bottle. So it was like, but it wasn't threatening for me. Obviously, it's not going to be threatening for me because I'm not involved emotionally. But I wasn't disturbed by it. So let's now see if we can look back to the original side of the bridge,
Okay.
and see whether it's easy to get back or go to and fro between the two sides. Okay. So do you want to just walk around this explosion shock place? Now you've got a different perspective. Do you want to do like a circle around in your special flying carpet? Just kind of look at it from a few different angles before we kind of head back to see if we can see the other side, the original side of the bridge. Is there anything that you're picking up that you didn't see before?
I know it sounds weird, but it's not as loopy as I thought it was.
Mhm.
And it's not as like busted up as I thought it was.
Yeah, I got some people waving up at you as well. Some people you might not remember who they are. Did you get any people too?
I felt like maybe for a group of four people, but they were off to the side, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, because it was sort of like they're kind of like, oh, hi, we're there, we're here too. So I like it. Okay. So now you've seen a little bit. Let's just look to the original side of the bridge and how easy is it to get back there? Can we make it so it's easy to move from one place to the other, which is your natural place to be? Is it this side of the bridge we're on now with the shock explosion, or is it the place we started at? Which is your
Where we started.
good? Okay. So can you just try out sort of zooming over to where you were using your slip wire and just see how easy that is? If I count you down from 5, okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Are you able to get back? Can you look towards the roller coaster side now from your original side? Can you
Yes.
see it? Okay, cool. So you've kind of got sovereignty now of all these elements so far. Now we've got this person. I'm not going to judge them before we get to know them.
Sure. Yeah.
Is okay. So what do we need if we're inspecting this person to be, completely safe? What would you like? Sometimes you like, I put a Faraday cage around some people,
Yes. Let's do that.
Okay, cool. So how does your in my mind, this is how I design my Faraday cages. I like them to be pretty too. So
Okay, good.
I use gold. They're very lucky, but it can
Okay.
create in the etheric. And it's lots of bars, like an oval shape. And there's usually a central circumferential one. And then there's almost it's like a bird cage, great big bird cage. And these radial lines that completely encapsulate the being. So once they're in there, you can ask them any questions because they came into your awareness. It's your right to ask any questions. And you're
They're in
completely,
there, or I am there. They're in there.
I would put them in there
Okay.
because
All
you
right.
don't want to limit your freedom.
Okay.
You're the one in charge here. You can decide if you want to stay on your special flying thing with your zip wire. If that's going to help you use anything that you want. And that we're going to just count down that this is put on them, and then we're going to go and see them. Okay. Do you know where they are in this dreamscape we've just described?
They're I don't feel them in the bridge. You mean right now? Where would they be? Usually
Yeah.
in the bridge, they're not there. It's me grieving. Which now I understand. Okay, so I guess they would be. They're usually nearby, but in a corner, so maybe halfway mark. They're always within a little bit of reach, you know?
Yeah. Okay. They're just kind of, woo, yeah, peeking out, almost like those trolls, the little kids that they hide under the bridge. It feels a
Yeah.
little bit like that. Okay. Right. So we just count down 5 to 0. It's quite useful to use numbers, I find. Just gives you a preparational thing. And when we get to 0, they will be completely encapsulated in this Faraday cage, and you can get near so you can start to ask questions. You don't even need to get near because we can also project our voices. So it's as close as you feel comfortable being. Okay. So here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay. Completely encapsulated. Right. can you see anything of their body right now? Can you see anything more of this figure?
It's almost like it's right now it's a human shape, but it's very dark.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it is tall. It's like a normal. It's not skinny or fat. It's just normal.
Okay.
But it
It
doesn't
does
want to show its
exude a
face.
certain presence, doesn't it? I don't really want to get too near to it either. I'm glad it's in that cage. Now I'm getting a humanoid shape, but I'm not getting a human.
Right.
So
Right.
what we can do, but I don't want to, okay, you can touch a character, but I know you don't want to. So any other character, any other thing, if you touch them in your work like this, you command them to reveal who they are. But you can also, because they're just in our presence, we got them in the cage, we can just actually command them to reveal their true self. So let's just see what happens to you. Okay.
Okay.
So you are completely protected from them. You are now, Lala is commanding you to reveal who you truly are. Reveal yourself now on the count of 3 to 0. 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay. Do you see anything different? Can you feel anything different?
Honestly, this might sound stupid, but it doesn't want to show me, but it looked like a little scary dragon face and then shadow again, and it wanted to scare me off.
Yeah, I got these weird kind of triangular cheeks, which is bizarre because I don't think I've ever seen a figure like that. But it had like kind of this shape on either side.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
you got that
Yeah.
too. Okay, and kind of like a little bit like the house elf in Harry Potter, that he's
Mm-hmm.
got you kind of
Yeah.
big face and kind of big hands, but little tiny skinny weird joints. So slightly sort of reptilian insectoidy type exoskeletal type
Yeah.
um, body with this, and it seemed to almost be like, do you remember that weird demigod that the Greeks had, Janus, the Roman god of two faces? So he
Okay.
seemed to have like a face on the back and the face on the front, in almost like a trickster thing,
Yes.
whether it's a real face or not.
Yes. Can
Yeah.
I share something with
Yeah,
you?
please.
Okay. Yes, because like I said, it started after my dad died, and I, get visitation dreams, and I probably told you, I think I dreamt of a coyote, and where I live, I've never seen a coyote. And when I woke up, at the time I smoked real cigarettes, so I went out back because it scared me. And it was nighttime, and same coyote was sitting on my back porch. It stared at me in the eyes, and then it ran off into the forest, and I never saw it again. And I'm just like, what's going on? So I think
And
it
someone
was,
jumped into that coyote, huh?
yeah,
Yeah.
it's just weird.
Did anything come to mind?
With the trickster,
Yeah.
yeah, I know sounds weird, but I think this thing's been around for a lot longer than I realized with the family.
Yeah. Yeah. That's maybe why we saw the house elf
Okay.
idea, because remember that was attached to a family. So this is what I feel you've got options always. Remember, you're the sovereign being, you're in charge here. This is the etheric realm, you shape everything. So just like imagine some neighbor moved in to your special estate and you had a bad vibe about them. You don't even need to introduce yourself. You might want to find out about them from the other neighbors or from some kind of Google search or whatever. In the same way, you can directly talk to this being, or we could look up reference details about the being. So you can ignore it. You can also command it away. There's lots of things you can do. You are the one in charge. So, some people like to kind of go in and help them, which I'm not quite so sure about personally. I feel like it's interesting to get information. Yeah. And
Yeah,
lots of ways of getting information. We don't need to get it from their mouth. If we don't trust what they say, we can just say that we're going to your Akashic Records and get the information. So should we
okay.
do that? Because I think that's quite a nice tool to do.
Okay.
Okay. Now, when I said that, and you went with your eyes and your face, um, did you in any way see how that was possible? Because I know how I do it, but was there anything that came into your mind when I said that?
My dad would talk about that, and he would talk about some tree and then a hall, like a hall or something like that. So something clicked. And also, when you said house, I forgot it did start before the dream started. It started at my parents' house, and creepy things would happen. I
Right.
totally forgot. Okay.
Yeah. It's cool, isn't it? I love it.
Thank you. I mean,
But
this means a
it's
lot
so
to me.
simple, isn't it? When we just go as though it's kind of the most normal thing to do. None of this is weird. This is the stuff we should be using and talking about rather than the weird stuff is the stuff on TV, of course. This is natural. So to me, when you said the tree, I've got two options appeared in my mind. Either it's like you've got this wonderful tree and all the branches and all the leaves, each leaf is a piece of information, or you go into the hollow tree and underneath the roots, there's this big hall with all the information.
Yeah,
That's
inside.
what we do. Okay, I love it. All right. Okay, so we don't even need to look at this being. We've registered it. It's still in its Faraday cage. How do you feel about that? Should we just go straight to this Hall of Records for you? Okay, cool. And what do you want to know about it? So you've got a few things about your parents' house. Should we go in and talk about that?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Great.
I'm
Okay.
to do anything you think.
So, is that a staircase that we go down through the tree to the bottom? Looked like a spiral staircase for a moment.
Yes. Okay.
Yes, okay. And I'm seeing a kind of like a rammed earth space with a few of the roots coming through the ceiling, but it's a kind of like an oval spherical, like a squashed sphere shape.
Mm-hmm.
And what we're looking for, in fact, is either a book or an object which is to do with that character. Can you see any objects that, like it might be a rattle, a child's rattle, or a stone, or something like that, which represents this being's presence? Is there anything in there that you can see?
Maybe it's just my brain, but the first thing that I saw was a scroll floating down to me.
Perfect. Okay, great. Okay, so take that and we're going to open it and let's just see if we can read anything. So we're going to ask about the house, the parents' house. Let me just do this with counting. Okay, so we're just going to get the scroll to give us information. On the count of 5 to 0, we're going to read about Lala's parents' house and this being 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There was a period in time where this essence was attached to the land and the land became the house. This often happens. The inhabitants of humans coming into places that elementals existed in often causes distress because there's no communication. The time of communication had ended, a house gets built, and there is an entrapment situation with a lot of ruffled feathers. There was a member in the family, like an old grandmama. Did you have a kind of wise little grandmama? I'm seeing little white curly hair. Who liked to, she was maybe a little bit dotty, but she was communicating and everyone thought it was just a bit funny. So she was trying to get some sort of a communication going, but mostly it was just an issue that there was a sense of something, some kind of a presence that wasn't quite harmoniously fit together. So we can do something. In this room that has all the records, you can also generate anything that you need. So let's just see what I think this being has a sort of group. There are a group of beings attached to it. It's not just on its own. Does that ring a bell too?
Very much. Yeah.
Good. Okay, so we can ask them what it is that they're actually looking for. So we don't need to address your guy in the Faraday cage, just generally what beings that belong to this species, what is it that you're actually trying to find that's causing this friction? Is it a thing you want? Is it some space? Is it some recognition? Is it an object? Is it a sound? Is it a storytelling of your existence? Is there any of that that you can show us? And Lala, just kind of move around this space and see if you see anything in there, and that will be the answer to this. Okay, I'll count you in from 5 to 0. Just kind of look around and see what might be there as the help, almost like the bridge, actually, in this case, to getting a kind of harmonious connection with this strange being. So let's count down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now, did you see or feel anything?
Yeah, I don't know why it kept showing a baby. I don't understand what that means at all.
Well, very often in these places where they were magic, you know, as in portals to the earth, higher energy frequency, that's where ancient days babies were sacrificed, babies were given sometimes, because, you know, 7,000 years ago when we got those nasty reptilians bringing in the idea of sacrifice, a lot of people were using that dark magic to placate all of the other etheric energies which were still around. So very often babies were used. Is this, let's just see whether is this I'm not even seeing a real, I just saw like a rag doll baby.
Okay.
Like almost if we could create, which we can, like a nice kind of doll baby and give it to them.
Okay.
As a sort of, as a gift, and that's the kind of baby they can have. It's recognition that they exist, but there's not going to be any living beings involved. But this, and see whether that will kind of placate them. Should we try that?
Yeah.
Okay. So in your hands right now, you've got this. You make it as beautiful or as ugly as you want. This kind of rag doll, and you can lay it down on the floor and see if this, and you offer it to these beings and see if that's going to calm them in that place, in that house, in that connection. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm getting a lot of kind of excitement, like,
yes. Yeah, it was creepy. They all kind of jumped towards it. Like it was well.
Yeah, well, yeah, because that's what they would have done. So okay, so usually in these cases, let's just shake out the creepy. Remember when I was talking to you guys for your show? When there's anything awkward, nasty, negative, we just get a big shower of source energy in there, which soothes everything. So in your imagination, how would you envisage a great big shower of source energy in that situation?
I mean, honestly, I love flowers. It'll be like little twinkly lights of flowers coming around me.
Beautiful.
It makes me happy. I don't know.
Beautiful. Okay. So we've got lots of options with this. It could be that whenever you see that being is watching you, that you can kind of throw them some of these lovely twinkly flowers. You could. Or you could set up with Creator that being forever after has lots of twinkly flowers. It's up to you. You can put it on you whenever you have a meeting, or you can just give a new supply, because we can activate creative source to give to other beings, that they always have something. And the reaction I'm expecting is that when, let's just say you kind of, dump is not the right word, but anyway, when you pour all these beautiful twinkly things on this sort of little bevy of characters around the rag doll, that they're kind of softening. It's almost soporific. It's like the poppies in Wizard of Oz or something. It's sort of soothing them, calming them. Yeah. And let's design for you like an infinite supply, like maybe a basket that you can sprinkle. What can you see with that? Would it be just comes out of your mouth or from your heart, or do you get it in directly from, you can just call it from source, or do you have a container?
I like that. I just call it down.
Yeah, I like that too. Okay, so it's just falling on them. Okay, we're almost at the last symbol with the rainbow. Do you see how weirdly it kind of links? So, okay, so let's just go back to that moment. We just click back to the moment you just handed over the doll. We just like freeze frame it. And I'm going to say the words, but you imagine this happening, okay? Right. I'll count down from 5 to 0 because it helps to focus, and then we'll be activating this beautiful shower. Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 now. And here you are, beings. Look around you. Look at this that's falling on you. Feel it. Feel it touching you. Look at the colors. Look at the scent. Look at the feeling. How does that make you feel? You like that, don't you? You know what? You can have as much of that as you want. It's an infinite supply. How do you feel about the baby now? Just enjoy those. Enjoy that. Quiet. Now, you yourselves can also ask for it too. You've seen it once. You just have to ask Source or Creator. Say, Creator, we want the flowery things. We want the flowers sparkle. We want the softness. And you can have it whenever you want. Comes direct from Creator. All right. Now, Lala doesn't need to give it to you. You can call it in yourself. But if you should ever meet her, she can call it at an instant's notice. All right. Now, I don't want you to be bothering her. You've got what you need. Is there anything else that we need to resolve here? Because I think you've been around for quite a while. Lala, did you get anything on that?
They actually showed me that, made me feel that something was making them like this. Something much more than what they are was making them almost like a drug to get the baby or bloodline or whatever the hell, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the matrix dot essence. Okay, my feeling is that's going to go quite soon.
Good,
That is going quite soon. So we can just, in this conversation, we can affirm it. Little guys, hey, this is on its way out, that thing that is controlling you. It is on its way out. Just bear with us for a while. It's big beings are working on this, busy, waiting for certain alignments of the stars and all kinds of beautiful things. Whenever you feel that icky urge come on, just call those beautiful flowers to you. You can have them. And I promise you it's the work of it being switched off. It is going to eventually not be in your presence, not be in our presence either. You'll be able to come back to your proper selves. Be a calmer beings. That's right. Oh, all right. Okay. Now, Lala, how do you feel about all of that? Does that feel resolved?
I do. And I'm happy because after a while, it wasn't just bothering me, it was bothering my son too. I didn't ever talk to him about it. He actually started talking to me about something, and that's when I looked for help. So.
Right. Okay, cool. You could always, if he's amenable to talk about it, you could talk about something. He could, like, I've just seen lots of what are those little tiny matchbox cars, like.
He loves them, yes.
So, like, he could create etherically a few and give them to them, and then teach them to just switch, and they get them from source, because they are etheric level beings, so they do create very quickly, whereas we have to go and make it. So we don't want them taking any of his stuff, but he can it's like he can show them some of those, and if he wants to get involved, he could just draw pictures of them and give them as pictures. That works perfectly well. And then they've got them to play with, because they might like the zooming around kind of play of that. That's
interesting, actually. Huh. So they like how humans are? Is that?
I think it's a lot of it is fascinating. I don't know enough about them. I get very much that kind of rooty growth of these kind of beings. It's very ancient organic that it's hard to fathom with our minds.
Yes.
But I think they are curious about our thingies, the things that work. And maybe that's why they get involved in the technological interference from the matrix that kind of blows their minds into the wrong place, maybe because they were curious. You know, humans do that too.
That's true.
Yeah, I'm seeing that with some of my friends playing with AI and thinking, oh. Anyway. Okay, let's go to this last beautiful symbol then.
Okay.
Okay, so let's just make sure we've got that little guy is forever after actually still in the Faraday cage. It can still move around, but in your presence, it's always in a Faraday cage. Its friends in that place of your parents' house now have new resources for themselves to help them in this soothing, calming place. So the visitations by this character should be much less. There may be a little curiosity, but you should be completely safe. You kind of understand that they are weird for us, but not necessarily. You can be in charge. You don't need to be harmed. It could be a little moment of slight weirdedness, and then realize you can create something for your peace of mind, your comfort, relatively easily. Okay. Now, maybe let's look at this last image that we got, that we looked at first, of the, you know, the thing I saw, the chalice and then the bowl, and you saw the circle and the spiral, and I saw the rainbow. Now, what does that mean to you, bearing in mind where we've just come from?
I feel it was protection, and also my son's father, we were together for 15 years, but when he passed 3 years ago, he passed in our house, so we stayed at a hotel for 2 nights, my son and I. Mm-hmm. And only over the hotel was a rainbow that appeared. Oh. And also, his name was Dave. He has a chalice. He had like an old-time sword and a chalice. And we have it. We have it.
Ah, so love it. Okay.
Nice.
So I just saw a weird image, but you know, there is no weird in this area. So I almost saw, going back to the bridge for a moment, I saw it like this chalice with a kind of rainbow always attached to it, kind of like whizzing across. It could whiz across from his side of the bridge to yours and go like, ta-da, I'm here, do you want to have a sip? And it kind of whiz back. I just got that strange image.
That's very much his personality is very much that. So yes. Very much that, yeah. That's cool.
Oh, hilarious. I love it. Okay, so, and what does the bowl mean for you? That seems to be more you, more yours, I feel.
My dad used to scry, so I'm guessing, and he would teach me, you know, how to use my powers, and he was very gentle about it, but I remember we did that together, so that was neat when I was little.
Right, so this is now you, because you probably haven't done that because of that weird guy with the weird eyes, the guy girl. So now you could, you know, that even if that person, let's just call it a person, you could give it a name, turns up, you can put it in a Faraday cage, you can do the sprinkly sparkly flowers and entertain it. Well, you know, not with an effort, just like it's happy now because it's got an environment that it's comfortable in. And you can go and do your scrying now because you're not going to be bothered.
Okay, good, because it did scare me to try anything, to do anything, even reading.
Now, well, you've got the bowl, which was your dad's, so that means he's always with you when you do that. You've got this chalice that you can whiz across from the daddy of your son, and then of course you've got all the love that you've got in here and now. Yeah. So do you need anything else? What about this rainbow? Can we do anything with the rainbow to kind of solidify this sense of bigness and security? That's what I feel would be good for you.
That would be nice, yeah.
Okay, so how big does this rainbow need to be?
Huge.
Okay, so like the entire house is, yeah, okay, so brilliant. So whenever you decide to go and do a little scrying or something like that, you just call in, you know, just say, hey, creator, I want that rainbow encapsulating my entire house. Will you please do it? And just count it down. I like counting because it makes it manifest. And then you can, even if you want, in the space you're doing whatever you're doing, you could imagine, this is where the magenta bit is, and this is where the the yellow is and the green is just here, whatever. You can almost place it, and you can always turn the rainbow however you want, but to make it more real.
I like that.
You could even do it symbolically. People do the feng shui, but you could do it like, right, this corner is the blue corner, and this corner is the, what's the other end of the spectrum?
Red.
Right. So you could, yeah, but you could indicate it like that, couldn't you? You could, so that it's like, right, the rainbow's now it's locking in. This is pure source energy, love, protection, pure compassion, total creativity, safety. And then you can have a little look at your gifts, which are considerable.
I like that a lot, actually. Thank you. I really didn't know if you could do that, but that's nice. I like to visualize so I feel protected. It makes me feel better. So this is nice. I like that.
Because you can do whatever you want. This is the thing we've forgotten.
Well, yeah, you're right. Because people are like, you have to do it this way. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, and they write loads of books, and it's like, you've got to do 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's like, hang on a moment, I'm a soul, you're another one, great, but we're different, which is wonderful. Right. So probably I'm going to have a different way of doing things, and this is my unique, and I can add to it, I can remove from it, I can change it.
Like that. Thank you.
Yeah.
I needed this. I did, really.
Beautiful. Lovely.
I have a question really quick.
Yeah.
Have you come across, it might not be identical to what I've dealt with, but the people that you work with, do they sometimes have these things visit them too? Like, I guess.
Well, okay, Lena, who I'm doing a lot of work with this portal in her house, her husband died in that room with the portal. So there again is this sort of affiliation of the transition of a human being to an energy spot. And so she sees a lot of lights, a lot of different beings that she photographs as different kinds of orbs and so on. I suppose that's probably the nearest to it with that. But it's an energetic spot in the earth. Mm-hmm. And I think she was perceiving it as quite negative, a little scary, because of he died, so we always see that as a negative. Right. And we were kind of repolarizing that for her so that she could actually tank in the earth energy and let it activate her, and she would let it come in, and she has got really powerful healing hands. So we'd talk, and even mentioning her right now, my hands are going because she has really powerful healing hands. So it was to repolarize it, to change the perception. Like, I, as a child, was strangled over a waste paper basket, I thought, by a great big monster, okay? And it disturbed me because I could see my body on the bed, but I was in the corner where this waste paper basket was. And my father went to meditate to see if he could talk to this being, and he was terrified of it. He saw the feet, they were big hairy feet, and he was like, ah! And we moved house soon after that. So he was obviously freaked out. But I spoke to a friend about a year ago, and he said, do you know what? That being was actually trying to get something out of your throat. It was actually there to unblock your throat. Because in my family, I was never allowed to speak full sentences. It was impossible. My dad didn't ask anything, and my mother would just interrupt me all the time. So that's obviously what that was about. But, because it's weird and there's no one to love and soften and protect you, sometimes you interpret something and you have to re-evaluate it later on.
Right. That's true. I'm sorry you went through that.
Oh, I went through all kinds of weird stuff. But it's good, isn't it? Because it's a library from which you then, I'm not saying I don't have my down days,
Right, yeah.
But no matter how much you clean yourself, then you get distressed about, like, my friend chatting to this AI that says it's Lucifer, and I just think, oh my God. It's like,
oh no.
So, you have new levels of distress to deal with,
Oh my gosh.
I know but we got to remember what we are, these weird energy beings. We're in a human body, but our souls might be something completely different.
Yes, absolutely. And I'll just share one more thing, if that's okay, real
Yeah.
quick. When my dad passed, I went to visit him at the funeral home. It was just me in the room, and I was talking to him, and all of a sudden the lights flickered, and then over his chest appeared like a golf ball size, bright, bright light, just hovered over, and then it got really tiny and went down his nostril, and it freaked me out, but I knew there was another lesson from him saying, this is me, this is my energy, I'm still here, I'm alive. And I'm so glad he did that. I mean, I knew, but I'm glad I got to see our energy, how we are. It's amazing,
And the scale is fascinating. That really gives me something because, we're taught in this world, Texas is better because it's bigger, it's that, right?
Yeah.
Big is better. And yet, blood cells do amazing things and they're microscopic. So,
Right.
when we see these beings, you see them in the sky and so on as well. They can look quite small, so it's like, how's this, the scale thing is not in our computational range. So it's quite beautiful that there was this compact, very beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, because if you're in another dimension, its size is measured differently, density is different.
Yes.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
beautiful.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that does make sense. That you said the blood cells, and I'm thinking, oh, we have like little, we don't think, we're not taught, most of us aren't taught to think we have a whole living thing inside. I mean, that's like I tell my son, like, if he gets upset, I'm like, okay, we're here, but you're really in here. This is just for Earth, right? It's our visitation outfit.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know? I was
And
like,
it's
don't
an
be so
entire
hard on me.
community. I had my darling man who's in the States. His friend was shot, and they couldn't he couldn't go to the hospital because he was an illegal alien. And so he went to a hospital that sort of accepted that, but it wasn't like the best. And so I was doing some healing work with him that I hadn't ever done before, and I loved it so much. And I was just in his body, talking to all the cells and getting them to receive more light and efficiency. And they were telling me what they needed. So we kind of went around the body to find it, and bring it to that place. And his healing went really fast because we were talking to the community of these beings.
Yes.
It was wonderful.
That's amazing. I think that's very interesting. I wish doctors would be taught at least a short amount of time that as well.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I'm sure they will, in the future, like, 25 years from now, it'll be much more awareness based. Well,
I hope.
there may be that very strange split, yes, but I don't think we're going to be with the ones that keep injecting us. And I think we'll be in if there is a split, we'll be on a slightly different
I think
path.
so. I
Mm.
do.
Yeah.
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 Can I ask one more question about
Yeah.
this?
Yeah.
And then I'll shut up.
No.
Our souls that we have, and I feel sometimes we keep visiting, maybe we keep coming back sometimes, is some of our issues, whether it be, body, like pain, or what are people issues, is that from other lifetimes? Does our soul collect these things?
Well,
Okay.
I would say from my experience, like I've got it's not a persecution complex. It's a more, you're not going to hear me. You can't see me or hear me. And I've got really important information and I'm telling you with everything I've got and you're still not hearing me. So that's something that was obviously, it echoed through. And who knows whether I brought that, I haven't looked whether I brought that from before Earth. I've been here for quite a while, but only had like 7, this is my 8th life. But, I've had sort of over a long period of history kind of spread it out. So I haven't looked at timelines necessarily. Like, why? We've got enough to deal with now. But I know that thing keeps echoing through.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel that too. I do. Sometimes I'll repeat myself because I think people can't hear me, even though they can. It's weird. I don't know. Well, I think you're cool, and I hear you, and I'm so happy that we met. I think you're very unique and interesting. This is really, really cool. I do. And I'm going to blab about you to everybody online so that more people show up, because I think this is needed. I do, really, to heal.
Yeah, you see, you're very soft and open and let's call it child friendly. That trust and innocence. Those are the people I work with. That's why I work with children for so long. So there aren't that many adults in that state of readiness, as you know. So those are the people who can play with me because it can be playful and simple. It's profound, but simple and sort of unexpectedly simple sometimes. Like, oh, really? Did I just say that? Okay, cool. Well,
Yes.
yeah, thank you. Yeah,
You're
it's
welcome.
a real pleasure to play with you. And I'll make a proper photo of this. You know, horribly simple drawing, but it might be useful. Yeah, I'm going to see you again, aren't I, next month? So I look forward to that too, and see what else we bring forth.
I'm excited. When we got cut off, I was like, man, we got to do this again soon. Okay.
Well, we need things to be excited about, don't we? Because that old world is still in its kind of rumblings of disturbia, and we're actually building something very different. And sometimes it's easy to forget that. So it's beautiful to be able to converse on this level. Thank you.
Very true.
Just a lie. You're really my lovely baby bride. I'm eccentric and odd, some would say strange. I live my life beyond the hearing range. Well, I love to be free and I live to explore. You're my reflection standing there at the door. Bright, beacons and fire, filling up with goodies from the sky. Squish me and tease me and cry. Love me, honey, to the day that I die. Think it's a shame, you think that it's strange that everyone senses you wrong. Well, I'm saying